So I received an email, and this is what the email reads. Good boss, I hope this reaches you in good faith. Well, I need a detailed and honest opinion on the Peugeot 301. No, some call it 301, but I call it 301. So he said, well, I need a detailed and honest opinion on the Peugeot 301, the price and the ease of using it in Nigeria. Best regards. Yeah. I know I've done a review on Peugeot 301, but notwithstanding, I just give my honest opinion and perspective on the Peugeot 301. Now, to start, Peugeot 301 has two faces now. Actually, of course, the Peugeot 301, I think it started as maybe in the 60s or 30s, something, I don't know. It's been a long time. But 301 didn't start recently. It has been in production long time ago. Or there was a time it was produced maybe in the 18th century. Yeah. So, but sometime in 2012, they started it again, the production, the modern one. So like I said, we have phase 1 and phase 2. The phase 1 started sale in 2012. Yes, the sale started in 2012 and ended in January 2017. While the phase 2 started, I think that same January or February 2017 till date. So for the phase 1, it has, I will speak more on the petrol versions. I don't really know much about diesel, but for the petrol has about 2 engines. I think at some point, I think they introduced the 3rd engine too. But basically they have 2 engines, 2 petrol engines. One of them is what's it called? I'm trying to remember the model number. EB2M. Yes, EB2. It's an EB2 engine. EB2M. It's 1.2 liter engine, and also 3-cylinder engine. And I think the maximum horsepower is 72 horsepower, and basically they were produced with only manual transmission. I think so, 5-speed manual transmission. At least I've never seen any automatic with that engine in 301. Well, I think personally I would prefer this engine to the next one I want to talk about for some reasons. But before I go to the reason why I prefer this one, the second petrol engine is EC5. That one is a VTI engine, but the model number is EC5, and also can also regard it as VTI 115. It's a 4-cylinder engine, and of course the petrol engine, 4-cylinder engine, and it has a maximum of 115 horsepower. Now let's go back to the EB2M, the one with 72 horsepower. Now in Nigeria, that's the only one I think you can get manual transmission. The other one, the EC5, the one that has more power, that's 115. I think they only produce them with automatic in Nigeria. And of course, I'm a manual guy, so I always go for manual. However, the reason why I prefer this is because of the fuel economy. Because if you are going for a car like this, it's basically the economy you're after. the fuel economy of this EB2, that's the one of 3-cylinder engine, is very, very interesting. As in, I mean, on highway, I think you can actually get comfortably 55 miles per gallon. That's US gallon. And in the city, you can average about 30 something miles per gallon when you are driving inside the city. So I mean, people that buy car of this size basically go for fuel economy. I'm not saying, of course, you can also go for power. There are cars like in that side that are also equipped with power, but 301 specifically is not meant for performance. They are just for fuel economy, city drive, even though you can still take it on a highway or long trip, but basically they are city cars. So the fuel consumption is where I'm after for, if you are going for something like this. These are the kind of cars people use as daily drivers. What daily driver means, you have maybe a phone car that probably has some maybe maybe over 200 horsepower or whatever I want to call it, or V6, V8, or turbocharged, whatever it is, which consumes more fuel. So, and you like, okay, no, I can't be using this car daily, maybe going to work and coming back. So you get another car, a second car that has less power and less performance packages, but consume very, very little. So you can use those ones to be doing your daily commutes, drive to work, come back. That's what I mean by daily driver. Of course, most of you guys know that already. So these are the type of cars. These cars, 301, they are produced specifically for this reason, city drive. So for those who are interested, I know I'm talking specifically to this guy that sent me them, but other people may also benefit. So those who are interested in city cars that consume less, this EB2M with a 1.2 liter and 3-cylinder engine, that's one that will give you the best fuel economy. Yes, the power wise, well, it doesn't have much power, 72 horsepower. I think for me, if you really want to understand the power or whether it's something you really want, just go and do a test drive a 206 or 207 with TU3 engine, TU3JP or TU3A. In fact, if you don't know the engine model I'm talking about, just ask any mechanic or any Peugeot mechanic or 206 user if his engine is 1.4 liter. So if it's the 1.4 liter engine, that's the engine I'm talking about. Just test drive it, especially the ones with manual. Only few of them were produced with automatic anyway. So 95% of them you will see will be basically manual. So drive it. However it feels is how the 301 with this 3-cylinder engine will feel to you. The power wise, they all drive the same. I've driven them, driven one or two. So it's basically the same way. But in this case, the 301 consumes less than the one in 206. Much, much better. In terms of fuel economy, is better. But some people will tell you, oh no, how can you drive 3-cylinder engine? Will it last? Is it durable? I mean, come on. With this technology these days, you are still questioning stuff like that. So that's when you drive it. I think that will give you, okay, is the power enough, because it's almost the same power. I think the TU3JP, the one in 206, is about 75 horsepower, while this one is 72. So you can see, basically just 3 horsepower difference, so there's not much. So that it will give you exactly the same feel, how it drives and moves. If it's okay to you, then that's the car for you. But like I said, it comes only in manual, unless there's any automatic produced, but it may not necessarily. I don't think you get it in Nigeria. Okay, moving to the one with EC5, that's the 1.6 liter inline 4-cylinder engine, petrol engine. That's the one with 115 horsepower. Okay, that's one is very good. You know, I'm not saying don't buy it, because I mean I'm also into performance. That's the kind of one I'll probably go for. You know, even though of course fuel economy is good too. I think it gives about maybe 40 or thereabouts on highway, and 30 something or so. Of course, the other one consumes much less than this one. But then, see why I don't really like the 301 with that engine in Nigeria. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying all 301 with that EC5 engine. The problem I have with it is the ones I've seen so far in Nigeria all had automatic transmission. There's nothing wrong with that automatic transmission, but one thing about that transmission is you can barely get the power of that engine out of that transmission while you are driving on a normal drive. You know, on a normal drive, that's where I'm getting at. And the consumption is much higher with that transmission compared to manual. In fact, even when you go through the spreadsheet of the EC5 with automatic transmission, it actually has 88 automatic transmission. 88 replaced AL4. So 88 is also a 4-speed automatic transmission, and in fact you can actually, it may be difficult to tell the difference between 88 and the AL4 gearbox. You know, why on the ground they're basically, it's more like the same gearbox. So I don't even know why they change the name. But of course there will be some differences, basically maybe even on the wire and other, and the ECU that you know, control them. However, outside Nigeria, they were sold 301 with that engine. EC5 were sold with both manual, 5-speed manual, and the 4-speed automatic. So had it been Nigerians have that 5-speed manual with that engine, that's one I've recommended, because that one, the fuel consumption is much better. In fact, it's almost close to the EB2M, that's the 3-cylinder engine one. The consumption is almost close to that. So it means you now gain both power and the fuel economy. Unlike the one with automatic, where okay, the power is there, but the fuel economy is not that there. It's not, well, I'm not saying it's very high, but I'm saying it's not there compared to the 3-cylinder engine. You know, and so unless you are importing, but the problem is I don't think the 301 that was launched in Europe, or at least some of the European countries that Nigerians shipping cars from as second hand. So I'm not sure you could get it as Tokumbo vehicles or direct Tokumbo cars unless you import. You can also, I think Dubai used it. They used 301, so you can search for it there. Maybe get one from there. Look for, if you like fun, if you want the one with power and fuel economy, then look for one with that manual transmission with 1.6 liter engine, petrol. You may not need to bother about the model number, because you may, not if you are not that technical, you won't really understand. Some of them don't even advertise it with the model numbers, engine model numbers. They will just put 1.6 liter engine petrol, or they may put the horsepower. So from there, it has only 1.6 liter engine. There's no 1.6 liter engine there. So you can look for, once it has manual transmission, you will enjoy it. If it has the automatic is like, if you want to know how automatic feels for that engine, Which engine will I talk about? Just if you have access to 408, Peugeot 408, drive it. It's the same automatic transmission, 88. That's why in the 408. No, it's not really one of the best transmission Peugeot ever mounted. It moves okay at that, but to me, kind of sucks somehow. It's not enjoyable for me. Anyway, I'm not saying. You see, what I mean is not enjoyable doesn't necessarily mean it has anything to do with reliability or durability. Your durability of automatic transmission depends on usage, on maintenance. So, I'm giving you my own opinion. Remember, you ask for my opinion, not general opinion. So I'm telling you my opinion and my perspective as a car guy or as a phone car guy. So depends. Now, I think I've given much about it. I think something I forgot. The 3-speed the 3-speed engine, that's the EB2M. I think the maximum speed is 160 km/h. That's the maximum speed for that engine. So you can see it's not it's not meant for performance or for you to speed like of course you can push it to 140 and all that, but since the maximum speed is about 160 km/h, my advice is don't ever go beyond 140. In fact, once you get to maximum 120, 130, leave it there. Don't ever go beyond that, because once you start going beyond that, what it means. You are stressing the engine. Just because it maximum it can get to 160 does not mean if you keep pushing it to that 160 that it doesn't affect the engine. It's a small engine being built for economy. So if you are on highway, best for me, if you want to enjoy that fuel economy, that the engine is designed to give, just maintain maximum 100, 120. Don't go beyond that. That's where you get the mileage. You'll be surprised when even give you up to 60 miles per gallon. I'm talking about, when I mean 60 miles per hour, like 4 liters every 100 kilometers. 4 per 100 kilometers. I mean, really, a full tank, you'll be surprised how long or the distance is going to cover. So, while the 1.6 liter engine, that's the EC5, that one, I think the maximum speed is 180 kilometers per hour. That's the top speed, the engine can take, and it won't give any issue. Of course, maybe some people can tweak the engine ECU to allow you to go beyond that. Like I said, these cars 301 is a full economy car. It's not produced for speed or that, So that's why if you are into speed or you want some power, then go for the 1.6 liter. Now, phase 2. Like I said, the phase 2 was produced, or it was launched, and the sales started in either January or February 2017. Now, phase 2, if you look at it, in terms of comparing it with phase 1, not much different. Not much difference on the exterior will be noticed. They kind of look alike. Normal, though the front end, they touch it, change one or two things, put daytime running lights, and the rear, they change the rear. They did some change. I think for me, where I will actually say you actually observe a lot of differences is in the interior, the dashboard. I think by standard, I'm not sure, but I think standard they have 7 inches, touch screen. Unlike the older model, that's the phase 1. I don't think they have any big screen. Maybe they do, but at least all the ones I've driven, they just have a small screen on the dashboard, for this information and all that. So this time they have 7-inch screen, touch screens, where you can use your fingers to just touch the screen to select your gadgets you want to use or whatever I want to operate. There are a lot of differences and that. In terms of the drivetrain, the power, this time around they used the same 1.2 liter engine, but this time the power, there's a power increase. I think 82 horsepower. That's the phase 2, 2017 to date. 82 horsepower for the 3-cylinder engine. That one I think is EB2F. That's the engine model, EB2F. Same 5-speed manual. I don't think there's any automatic for them, because that kind of engine, automatic, will suck away the entire power of the car and the mileage will be horrible. So it's only manual transmission that can actually give you that that mileage, the fuel economy the car is designed for, and also allow you to enjoy the power the engine can afford to give out. So they all have manual transmission, 5-speed manual, and of course, at the back you mostly see them as PureTech. That's the name of the engine. It's a series, PureTech engine. So this one is 1.2. Good for economy, much better. I'm not sure. They actually compare it with the the old one. Maybe the newer model may consume less than the one of 72 horsepower. But the most important thing is fuel consumption much better and higher. Better fuel economy as well. No, fuel consumption much better and then with higher power for the 3-cylinder engine. Now they also maintained the 1.6 liter used in phase 1. That is the EC5. I think that's the only 1.6 liter engine there as well for petrol engine. It also has the now on the transmission. What they now did was they did not use the 88, the 4-speed automatic. This time they used EAT6, which is 6-speed automatic transmission, and it has 5-speed too. It has the option of 5-speed, but in Nigeria, I'm not sure, but I doubt if you get 301 phase 2 with 1.6 liter engine with manual transmission. I'm not sure. Most of the ones I've seen so far were automatic, so if it's possible, fine. I'm talking about brand new now, unless you can import. But all the 3-cylinder engine in phase 2, which is the EB2F, those ones are manual. Of course, there are a lot of the phase 2 is more like an improvement on the phase 1. So of course, if you can afford the brand new one, I would suggest you go for the phase 2, not the phase 1. There are some things about. Let me now talk about I've talked about positive sides. Let's talk about the negative side, because everything has positive and negative. The negative, which I call the annoyance part of the vehicle of 301, both phase 1 and phase 2, is coolant temperature gauge. Call it whatever I want to call it, water temperature gauge or whatever. Can give it your own name. By standard, vehicles have temperature gauges on the instrument panel. For those who don't know what the instrument panel is where that cluster where the speedometer, the tachometer, the fuel gauge, oil temperature, all those things from gauges there before the driver. So, but for 301, they don't have it. At least phase 1, I'm very, very certain. I've checked at least I know I've driven about 3. At a point, one of them had manual, the owner's manual in the vehicle. I pulled it out, checked to see maybe if the gauge probably was hidden, and I needed to press something for it to show itself. It was not there. Now the phase 2 as well, I don't think it's there as well. Maybe it's there, I don't know. But for what I've seen, I did not see it reflecting on that cluster or panel. So I don't understand why Peugeot chose not to include temperature gauge there. Yes, there's a temperature gauge overheating warning there. So it means the only time you get to know the state of your cooling system, or the only time you know that your engine is overheating, is when that warning comes up. And what it means is you only get to know when it actually starts overheating. If the gauge is there, if the physical gauge is there, every once in a while your eyes will go there, so you say, okay, it's still within the normal temperature. Well, when you start going beyond normal temperature, you can actually catch it and stop before it can cause harm, or before you even get to the stage where you start warning you stop and temperature too high, blah blah blah. But in this case, there is no gauge there, so you only get the warning when the probably the harm is being done, or has been done, or about to be done to the engine. So I really don't understand. If they can put temperature gauge in a smaller car like 206, 207, I don't see why they wouldn't put it in 301. If the instrument cluster is too small for them to include temperature gauge, then why not put it somewhere on the dashboard? I don't know. I'm not saying the car, you can use a car for years, many years, without the temperature ever going beyond the normal distance, But still, I'll be more comfortable knowing that my gauge is within normal, especially when I'm on a long trip, because my eyes go to all these things every once in a while. So I don't know why Peugeot chose not to include temperature gauge. So that's one annoyance. So if you are using it, just know that it's something, unless you don't, I'm not saying it should discourage you from buying it, but just know that it's something I'm not comfortable with for them not including it. I think basically that's the only thing I could say about 301 in terms of the annoyance side of it. There are so many positive. The car, see, one good thing about that car is small. When you're outside, it looks very small. But when you come into the vehicle, you'll be like, wow, you look as if you're sitting inside a 408. Honestly, it's the seat, even the rear seat, the design is so well that you sit and still be very comfortable. The leg room, even me that is almost 6.4 feet, I'll sit on the driver's seat and still there'll be enough leg room for me, feel so comfortable. So the car actually takes, it's very roomy inside. The boot also very big, even though it looks small from outside. So I don't even know. Honestly, Peugeot, they really did a good job on that car, So if you're looking at this from outside and saying, oh, this is a very small car, no, don't. Honestly, you need to go inside the vehicle. And it has so many good features. Even the phase 1, it has some good gadgets, features. The Bluetooth connectivity, wow, it's very, very perfect. I remember one of someone, I won't call it a customer though, but he actually brought the car to me to check, and while I was doing that, the ignition, was it off? I've forgotten. All of a sudden, I think the radio was playing or was not playing. I can't just. All of a sudden, the phone started ringing, and it was very clear. As in, he picked the call, and then he started speaking through the speaker. He started to talk. It was crystal clear. As in, the voice has no distortion. Of course, what I mean is the vehicle was now more like acting as a phone. So as he was speaking to inside the vehicle, and the person on the other end was speaking now, so the speakers were bringing out the voice crystal clear, as in no distortion, nothing. It was as if it was actually the phone with loudspeaker. So that's a very good thing. Their Bluetooth is very, very good. You know, very, very good. Bluetooth connectivity, you know, it's very good in terms of, so people that as maybe depending on nature of your work, you need to always communicate with your customer or something while you're in the vehicle. That's a very good one. All you need to do is just make sure your windows are up. I mean, it's very good. You don't need any other aftermarket device like earpiece or Bluetooth earpiece or, you know, whatever, so to pick your call while you're in the vehicle. That one is very good. Now I'm not saying you should violate your country law if they prohibit people answering phone call while driving, whether through the vehicle Bluetooth or not. I'm telling you, that feature is there and it's very, very good. There's so many good things about 301. Yeah, good as I must personally, you need to test drive it. Now the 88, which is the automatic transmission in phase 1, the 4-speed automatic transmission in phase 1, like I said, it's not a bad gearbox, but it's just I don't enjoy driving it. I'm not automatic gear guy, so I may not, to you it may not be a big deal if you are into automatics. So the recommended ATF is available, at least in Nigeria. You can get it from Pan. It's almost the same. I think it's the same ATF recommended for the AL4. That's the same one. That's 9730AE. That's the Peugeot part number. Unless I'll need to check to be sure, but I think it has to be the same, unless it's not the same ATF with AL4. Which other one? Then the E86. E86, that's the one, the 6-speed automatic they put in phase 2, 301. Now that one, if you actually, okay, the recommended ATF, I think is the total one can do that too. This what's the name? I'm trying to remember. Total ATF Fluidmatic LVMV or MVLV. I've forgotten. Fluidmatic LVMV. I think that one should do that too. It's available in Nigeria. Last time I bought it was at 35 a liter. Then the recommended engine oil for both of these phase 1 and phase 2, all their petrol engines, total was I know first 0W30. Total was I know ECS 5W30. Total was 9,000 5W40, or total was 7,000 10W40. So any of these engine oils will serve you in these engines, the EB2M, EB2F, and EC5. They will serve you well, but of course I will recommend the synthetic ones like the INEO. However, in Nigeria, we don't have those total INEO oils, like the 0W30, the 5W30, the one. So the one you can easily get is the was 9,000 5W40. Yeah, but of course, if you can get the INEO, any of the INEOs, I think that one is much preferable. So the engine oil shouldn't discourage you. But for this was 7,000 they use in Nigeria. Not too comfortable about it. Because that one is 15W50. So I don't think, personally, if I have a 301 petrol engine, I won't touch that. That engine oil will not near my engine. Doesn't mean, or will not near that vehicle. The 301 doesn't mean it's a bad oil, but for that engine, no, I won't use it. So I don't know if I have any other thing. I want to believe this video have answered most your questions. and all that. Of course, if you want more details and and all that, it means you have to consult me privately, and you pay. I don't do it for free. I can even get you one, inspect one for you, or advise you more, guide you on getting a very good one. So yeah, then for other people watching this, if you have more questions, if you have a question on Peugeot vehicle or stuff like that, or something like this one I explained, I need more information, I want to buy a Peugeot car, I want to do, whatever it is, you can ask and I'll do a video on that. I'll do the best I can. Then, of course, getting the good, like if you're buying a second hand, getting a good one that has not been abused could be a very big challenge for you. In that case, yeah, I can do that for you. I can help you. I can get it for you. I can do that for a price. Likewise, even if you're buying a new one, most time when you go to dealerships to buy one, they won't give you all these details I've given you. All they'll tell you is, oh, this one is it's 301. It's automatic. It ends there. But you won't know that, oh, there's one with 6-speed automatic, oh, there's one with 4-speed automatic, oh, there's one with 5-speed, there's this engine, there's that, the fuel economy is this. All these things, you will not get it from them, because they just want to sell products. They want to sell what they have, so they don't really care about, if they don't have that 6-cylinder, no, that 1.6 cylinder, they will sell. It's market now. It sells, so they will sell the one they have to you. They tell you everything good about it. Of course, they won't tell you the negative side anyway. So, but that's what I do. Even when you are buying a new car, I can come in there. You pay me, I'll come in. Anyone you're interested in or you find, I'll come in and give you detailed specification of that vehicle and interpret the specification for you. So that if it's not what you want or you prefer, I'll also give you, other specifications that probably they don't have. So that if you prefer the other ones, you can walk away. If you're okay with that, imagine buying one with 4-speed automatic, and it was only for you to find out that there's one, after you've driven it, there's one that actually has 6-speed, and then I wish you could have afforded, and you'll feel bad because nobody explained all these things to you. Because they didn't give you that option. So I'm giving it to you now. So if you want that way, I can do that for you. You pay a price. My number is under the description of this video. My contact details and all that. So more questions if you have one for me.